Welcome to the Mind vs. Action journey, where every week I will share experiences, thoughts, and ideas on how you can go from thoughts in your mind to actually taking actions. Life is not formed by just what is in our mind, but by actually taking action on what is in our mind. It is not enough to simply hope, think, and wish. We must take action. It all starts with two simple questions. Where are you, and where do you want to go? When was the last time you asked yourself these two questions? Chances are, if you are like most people, a few times. And perhaps you never have. Most have dreams, desires, and long lists of things they would like to get accomplished, but none of this matters if you cannot have a clear picture of your current condition and a clear vision of where you want to go. For me, I am a sole believer that we get exactly what we aim for, most of the time. I say most of the time because sometimes things don't go as planned, but if you truly want it and play the long game, you will get yours. What I mean by this is that if we aim at nothing, we get nothing. If we keep aiming at some desired state of life, we will eventually hit the bullseye. And this applies to positive as well as negative outcomes. Our unconscious mind is built on our conscious thought and desires. And even though I truly believe that most folks do not want to be miserable, their actions and their thoughts prove otherwise. And so it becomes a proverbial self fulfilling prophecy. This is why the psychic industry is so big, not because they have a way of knowing our future, because they absolutely don't. But they are master manipulators at having you believe some crazy idea of life events that a person will encounter, that the person ends up believing this to the point that everything they do gets aligned with what the psychic person said. And inevitably, the person ends up getting exactly what the psychic said. Not because the psychic knew their actual future, but because a person brought it to life because they believed it wholeheartedly. And so their actions got aligned with the belief. When the psychic predicts when the psychic predicts a good future, it is an awesome thing. When they don't, which is most of the time, it becomes destructive. Psychics play on this version of probing to find out where you are and where you want to go. And it works, and it is highly profitable for the most over $2 billion industry. You see, when you don't know where you are going and where you want to go, it is easy for someone else to come and give you both. And it is easy for you to fall for it and bring it to fruition. Because even though it is such a basic concept, know where you are, know where you want to go, it works. And it works beautifully when followed with massive action. So, where are you? In order for things to change, you must be brutally honest with yourself on where you are. This could be financially, physically, or emotionally. But being honest with yourself is the most important part because, in the end, you can lie to your loved ones, to the world, and for a moment to yourself. But the truth will catch up, not with them, but with you. So be honest with yourself. Truly identify where you are in the area that you want to change or want more of. This is not a time for comparing yourself with someone else. This is only a time to dissect where you are in the present moment. And where do you want to go? This is where you identify exactly what you want, where you want to go. Do not confuse the things you need to get in order to get to where you want to go with being the desired outcome. Those are just the means. Here, you must focus on the end. I want to be making X amount of money per month. I want my weight to be X by this date. I want to be happy with X. These are definitive goals, and as simple as it sounds, it really is this simple. This is why most do not get what they want, because they are looking for this complex equation or the magic pill, and when they don't find it because it does not exist, they shy away from this basic concept because if it sounds so easy, it cannot be real, they say, but it is. Of course, none of this matters if it is not followed by action, massive action. And sometimes the massive does not need to be so massive. Sometimes the small incremental changes we make daily add up. And when you look at these changes as a whole, they turn out to be massive over the long run. This is the area where most folks get stuck on, unfortunately. The taking action part, the taking the first step part, the gaining the knowledge part, the getting rid of certain things that are not aligned with where you want to go. Many times, these things are actually people that you surround yourself with. And this is why it becomes difficult to get where you want to go. You know where you are is not where you want to be. You know where you want to be. But once you know where you do want to be, you also find out what is in the way of getting there. And this realization is what paralyzes many because it means walking away from people or habits that we know are just not fit for our grand plan. But this is where the ones that ultimately get what they want have been so good at really doing, sacrificing present happiness for future long-term happiness. You see, as much as it might hurt in the present to cut off a habit, a loved one, it must be done. If deep inside of you, you know that this habit or person is not only holding you back, but setting you back, and in some instances, they can be havoc in the making. The figuring out where you are is easy. The figuring out where you want to go is easy. That taking action part is where the challenge arises, but it is the most vital part, or nothing happens. I know this because this is how I have lived my whole life, and I have had to make dozens of macro sacrifices and hundreds of micro sacrifices. Have the moments when I have to make the micro sacrifices been easy? Absolutely not. They have never been easy, and I know they will never be easy. But I also know that if after a while something or someone needs to be cut off because they don't fit my grand plan, it must be done, or my desired outcome will simply not come to fruition. I know this because I have experienced this time and time again. I know this because, contrary to what many believe, I am also human. I also have flaws. I also get caught up in the moment. I also get sold into some things that I later come to find out were not the way to go. But because I am human, because I am me, I am also able to quickly identify what needs to change, and I change it. I am able to walk away as much as it might hurt me in the present, not because I do not care, but because I care more for where I want to go. Make today the day where you ask yourself these two questions: where am I and where do I want to go? Most importantly, take action on the second one. Take inventory on what can stay and what must go in your life. Make the decision of being okay with short term loss of happiness because you know that you're going after the sustained long term type of happiness. If you do not do this, if you do not commit to this, your life will simply never change. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. There is no complex formula. There is no magic pill. There is only you and your ability to make things happen. So make them happen. Please subscribe to my blog, podcast, or YouTube channel to get notifications when my weekly entry is posted. I promise I will never disappoint. Thank you. Until next time, I challenge you to own your thoughts, actions, process, results, and ultimately your life story. Most importantly, I challenge you to go from thoughts in your mind to taking actual actions on those thoughts, as nothing happens until actions are taken.